the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
And the Kwame Bafo Abronye Pii mu ewo the Accra Circuit Court. Yedinkan man first remand say on them no ababi Pii mu ewo court. So Kwame Bafo Abronye Pii mu ewo court na said ye de to manimu no dear say NPP meka said the poor MPP amanyu koni nyina etimi ekokobo Pii mu ho afenwoma ken former Attorney General Ira Godfred Jeboa Dame, former Chairman Freddie Blay, enomne ekuku damfo a aka nyina etimi ekoku Pii mu ewo de Accra Circuit Court na court no etimi asan edi asem no na entete a yenya ne se yasan deny Kwame Bafo Abronye bail bio na obia enim de ekoso nenso Azorka yetimi ache no asa granting ni bail edana a enye asem koto na de yenko video ni bi wabra na Abronye free court dem ho AP.
So they told me and assured me at that Friday that by Monday they will arrest Azoka. So by Monday I called the investigator and he said that they have called him. They have summoned him. They called him for interrogation, but still now they did not get him, but they are on process of what to arrange if he didn't come himself. That is what the policeman told me. If Azoka did not willingly come himself at the distant police station, they will order for his arrest. So this morning, one of the Chebi police, the investigator, there are three of them. One of the investigator called me and asked me whether or not I'm in Accra or wherever I am, and I told him that I'm in Accra, and he told me for now they have arrested Azoka. That is what he told me, that Azoka has been arrested. And to me, everybody know how NDC, how trick they are. They are confident trickers. They can trick people just simple because they fall foul. Ghanaians began to see the injustice of John Mahama, the unconstitutional way of arresting people of John Dramani Mahama. So this is one of their tricks that they want to put it out there so that it will look like Azoka, they are doing something. But Mr. IGP, you can't be smarter than the Ghanaians. If you forgot, let me remind you that it is the good people of Ghana, the taxpayers' money that we used to pay you. Is that still the same taxpayers' money we used to pay John Dramani Mahama. So why are we seeing all this? When did insult? Well, if insult become a crime, so that the Bunu regional chairman can insult someone or can put a fake news so that he will be arrested with a Black Maria, which is meant for notorious criminals, and they will arrest him. Why is it that John Mahama insult the entire tribe, the entire tribe, and label them as Achim mafias, as Sakawa people, and John Mahama is not arrested? So we want the IGP should act competently. We want the IGP to act as a Ghanaian, as a police for Ghana, not police for NDC.
The police invited him on Monday, the 8th of September. He responded to the invitation by the police, went with his lawyers, submitted himself to interrogations. Within an hour of interrogations, he was whisked into NIB custody. The question is, why would the police investigating a matter and has its own police cells decide to send a citizen who is being investigated on a matter which is a misdemeanor into NIB custody. It must be stated that our checks at the NIB confirms that the NIB is not interrogating Abronye, neither are they investigating him. According to the NIB, they are only recipients of the man Abronye. In other words, the police sent him there that they should keep him. That is why they received him. But they are not the ones who are investigating. So the question is, why would Ghana Police Service claim to be investigating a person and rather decide to send him to NIB cells? Is it to punish him or what? Then they kept him the whole of Monday night, and Tuesday morning, being the 9th, he was brought to court. When they brought him to court, the police insisted that they still needed him for further investigation. Therefore, they want him to be remanded into lawful custody. Of course, the judge upheld the application and remanded Abronye to be brought to court today. Now, the sad part of it is that when he left court, the police handcuffed him.
Is that the case?
Well, I don't know whether they failed to do their job or not, but most of the 10,000 cases that they refer to, which I'm not sure why we can't see it. Pages, which I'm not sure why we can't, because we've heard that we can't see it. Most of it must have come from the Chief Justice, according to what her lawyers are saying, that most of those documents were documents that they submitted. They called the highest number of witnesses, and there are conversations that they actually even subpoenaed people. The people came there and they were not allowed to speak by the chairman of the committee and the committee's rulings. So they really have a story to tell. And if you listen to Newsfile last Saturday, you see the outrage of Ayikwe Otu, which was unfortunate, I have to say. But you can understand his outrage, being a former attorney general, a seasoned legal luminary, and seeing that some of the fundamental procedures were overlooked, overstepped, and just beaten up at the committee process. He was quite concerned. So it begs the question that this Article 146 process, which we thought we will never need it to remove a Chief Justice, there is an impeachment of a president. We have said that we will never need it. And that is because the president is given a political protection. The political protection in the president's removal is such that whenever the decision is made, Parliament must by 2/3 elect for the president to be impeached. So we assume that whenever somebody is president, he's very likely to have the Parliament. But come 2028, we may very well have a situation where the NPP may win the presidency, but the deficit in Parliament might not be recovered in the same election. So you can go into the Parliament with NDC leading by 10 or 20 or something, and the NPP have the presidency. It is then that the threat to that presidential impeachment will come up, because it's very easy to get in fact, it's easier to get the president than the Chief Justice in 146. Because in the president's process, it says that if he has taken any decision that economically doesn't benefit Ghana, and we can find $1 million in a president's tenure of 4 years, you can find Akufo-Addo impeachment for e-levy. He took the decision for e-levy. It didn't economically benefit Ghana. How do you know whether it benefited Ghana economically or not? You just do a vox pop, and everybody will say that I don't like e-levy, I don't like e-levy. Okay, Mr. President, you took a decision, let's start the process. But the president always knows that Parliament will be for him. But one day, Parliament may not be for the president of Ghana. And that is a plausible outcome in the constitutional arrangement that we have. And then we will see what happens. But that process is put there not so that we can impeach the president. It's put there so that in the extreme of extreme cases, there's something for us to pick and look at. We don't put Article 146 there so that every now and then we are tinkering with removing the Chief Justice, and my party comes, I remove Chief Justice, and my party comes. I mean, we all miss Professor Mills. There was significant pressure on him in 2009 and led by Alhaji Bature, who's gone, who's passed to eternal glory, may he rest in peace. But Alhaji and others heaped significant pressure on Professor Mills to the point where the president had to come out publicly to say that I am not interested in proceeding with an Article 146 process to remove Georgina Wood. I will not do that. And then in the subsequent press conference, the chairman of the party, once again, chairman of the NDC, at that time, Johnson Asidun Katia was general secretary. The chairman was a man they call Wayose, my very good friend, Kwabena, may he rest in peace. He used to be member of parliament for the MPP in 79, and then he became NDC and became his chairman. Kwabena was asked at a press conference that now that the president says that he's not going to remove the chief judge, what would you do? And he meted out the famous words which President Mahama had occasion to refer to last night. He said, there are many ways of killing a cat. That's what he said. That there are many ways of killing a cat. And that's what President Mahama was referring to yesterday, say he's not a cat hunter or something like that.
Exactly.
But this is the history we have come from. And we would have thought that having achieved this kind of measured precedent in 2009, that perhaps we have put that to some extent behind us. But here we are. We have had a situation where Article 146 has had to be invoked, not against a chief justice who has done something really sacrilegious in terms of the administration of justice, say telling a judge that don't rule this way. If you rule this way, I'll do this. Trying to offer money to a judge that's ruled this way, shifting a judge around.
Let me come in at this point. There are concerns that we should raise the bar when it comes to the amendments of our laws to ensure that the removal of key individuals like the Chief Justice, the President, for example, is very difficult, even if you're going to go through the legal route. But
it is difficult. As it is very difficult. But you have people hiding behind in camera and say that we can't talk about it. We don't want to publish it on television. We don't want to show a lot of the confidence that has occasioned the Ghanaian judiciary, which has helped in the democracy, came in 2013 when the election petition was showed on television. It started in America when the O.J. Simpson trial was showed on television. These things engender confidence in the judiciary, the judicial systems, encourages young people. There are many lawyers today who will tell you that they became lawyers when they watched the election. They wanted to become lawyers when they watched the election petition.
We should make the whole process public.
If you go to America, many of a certain generation of their lawyers decided to be lawyers when they watched the O.J. Simpson trial. Mm-hmm. So these things are very important. It engenders confidence. And so the Chief Justice went to Supreme Court applying that in spite of the in-camera process, which is to protect the subject, really. She is the subject. She thinks she doesn't need that protection. Can we show it on television? It would have done a lot of good to the process. But somehow or rather, somebody didn't want that exposed. And that's the beginning of the deep thinking and the beginning of where the overthinking political analysts now begin to think, why doesn't somebody want this? Who loses? Who loses when the thing comes on television? And that's a decision.
But if her request is against the law, when the law is clear that some of these cases should be held behind the cameras to ensure that we protect the sanctity of even the position in itself, depending on the issues that will come out.
There's precedent for that. There's precedent for that, not in the statutory law, but there's precedent for that in case law. In the election petition, the actual application had gone to the Supreme Court for the matter to be showed live on television. The Supreme Court had denied the application, I believe, by a 5-2. Had denied the application. Chief Justice Georgina Wood decided to apply an administrative fiat to determine on her own that the thing should be showed on television. If the thing showed on television occasioned financial loss to the state, for instance, today we can prosecute Georgina Wood for occasioning financial loss to the state because she decided against case law. Case law said you can't do it, and they raised all of these issues. Court is this, court is that. That was the Supreme Court decision. She wasn't a member of the panel. She took a decision later on, but it doesn't matter. In the interest of democracy, I think we should do this. Called Ghana Television. It was going to cost a lot of money. The Judicial Service were to pay that money, and Justice Georgina Wood decided, let's show it. So yes, that's why the Chief Justice went to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court have the power to look at these things and make decisions in favor of democracy and development, in favor of the deepening of accountability, and in favor of building our own democracy. They could have made that decision because really, who loses when some of these things come public? When we watched the election petition, it was a win-win-win-win for everyone. Nobody lost. The electoral processes were better defined. We came in with stronger rules. That's why we brought in all this BVMR or all of those things. And the electoral process was supposed to be better thereafter. So once this Article 146 process did not see the light of day for the exposure for people to see it, it began to raise questions. And then at the end of it, listening to the lawyers of the Chief Justice, it's unfortunate that perhaps the members of the committee don't want to speak or they cannot speak because we don't have their side of the story. Yes. So everything we are hearing is one side of the story anyway. I have to admit that at the outset because we really have to hear the other side of the story. But the kinds of things being said, if it happened, even if there are exaggerations and that it did happen, then we really have a lot to look at under the Article 146 process that removed Justice Tokono.
And that should be a job for the Constitutional Review Committee.
I don't think they can do much about it. And I've been hearing that because Article 146 is an entrenched clause. And once an entrenched clause, there's a clear way to amend entrenched clauses. And Parliament has nothing to do with it. I think people don't seem to realize that when an article is entrenched, Parliament has absolutely nothing to do with it in whether it is changed or not. It is just laid before Parliament, if you look at the rules in the Constitution itself, and then it passes to a referendum where 75% of the registered voters must vote and a certain percentage must vote for the new bill, and then it's passed. Parliament will just pass it. They don't have anything to do with it. So you can have all the members of Parliament. If you want to do a constitutional amendment of an entrenched provision, you still need to go through the referendum process only. And I do not see how many more provisions in the Constitution today that are not entrenched, that can have a two-thirds pass it. Those that two-thirds can pass, I think we've done them already. The citizenship one, the minimal one we did, and etc. What is left in the Constitution? The major talking points, ministers and whether they'll come from Parliament or not, an entrenched provision. Everything about the executive is an entrenched provision. Those who are worried about third term and all of that is an entrenched provision. Article 146 is part of the judicial side that is entrenched. So they would have to take Article 146 over to a referendum, and I don't know whether they're going to say amend this and change this or remove it completely. You can't remove it completely because you can't have a situation where there is no way to remove a Chief Justice. No, you can't have that. That doesn't set the balance of scale in constitutional jurisprudence. There has to be a way in which you can remove somebody, but you don't tinker with it often. You do it once in 100 years because in terms of checks and balances, nobody is above the law. And so there has to be a limitation on every power that is exercised under the law.
Okay, let's shift our attention now to the big elephant in the room, really, the job of oral and the concerns being raised about their effectiveness. So much talk, no prosecution yet. The president tried to answer that yesterday, just setting the tone for the conversation, telling us that indeed we are concerned that no prosecution yet. But there's a lot of work going on under the cover. He spoke about the likes of Eric Yaku, Gift Owari, and Osei Asibi, that soon they will all be going through the process with the AG. But what's your thoughts, really?
Well, a couple of questions came up about oral. One from
corruption or its incompetence, which is the bigger problem. We have been told all the time that the bigger problem is corruption. I beg to differ, and I know that I'm going to get a lot of scrolling for this, but if you engage with the literature well, you may find out that incompetence is a bigger problem because incompetence is more obvious to determine than corruption. And what has plagued Africa is incompetence. Why do I say that? Ghana has been said to be a poor country, blah, blah, blah. Okay. In 1995, Ghana was a poor country. In 1998, Ghana was a poor country. In 2001, Ghana was a hippie country. Sometime in 2006, somebody came to Ghana, a Ghanaian living here, set up a bank. Today, the bank is profitable, massively profitable. In the poor country, Ghana, the bank that was set up has been profitable. Businesses have come up. Joy FM here, you've advertised businesses that start tomorrow. Indomie noodles started on radio. Today is a huge business in the same Ghana that is not able to develop. What is happening? Is it that the people who set up these private enterprises are able to deliver it in a way that Joy FM started Joy TV way after Ghana Television started? Way after. How does Joy FM start Joy TV and it becomes more impactful than Ghana Television? It speaks to competence. Somebody is making competent decisions. That's what happens in Europe. People are making competent decisions. We have been told that your problem has nothing to do with competence, so we don't even look there. Our problem is corruption. I am angry because somebody stole money. How do we know somebody stole money? We were told by the politicians that somebody stole money. Many years ago, I interviewed Joe Gatti. I'll come to it very quickly. Joe Gatti is a politician. I interviewed him, and he was telling me that politics in Ghana has a very short time to live if things don't change. Because when people are desperate for power, they look at the opponent and say, you're a thief. When a parliamentarian tells me that an NDC parliamentarian is a thief, I believe it. When an NDC parliamentarian tells me that MPP is a thief, I believe it. So the easiest way to get the people on your side is to say that he is a thief. And that was what has been happening. When now you are told to show that he's a thief, then you are scrambling. Then your base is saying, what's happening to Oral? The things that Oral anticipated, did they really happen? The people that they said they are thieves, were they really thieves? Or that somebody was taking a political advantage?